Hey, Matt, you got a new face.
Okay, guys, welcome back to a very special episode of KORRACAST. We review The Search Part 3. You guys read it? And what else we got?
So, at the end of the season, rather than doing a season wrap-up episode, we're going to be doing our first live episode. We'll be doing a live stream chat with everyone. We don't know exactly what day it's going to be, but it's going to be that weekend of the finale. So mark your calendars for the date that we don't have yet.
Just block out a whole week just in case.
Just
do
reserve
anything.
a week of time.
Don't go to Thanksgiving.
Don't go to work. Don't go to Thanksgiving, because someday during that week, we're going to be doing our live conversation on the internet with you guys.
So our Naga and Pabu plush giveaway is still going on. So there's 3 different things that we have to meet. We have to have 3,000 subscribers on YouTube and 2,000 followers on Tumblr and 2,000 likes on Facebook. So once we meet all of those 3, we will start the contest.
We have to achieve goals, and then we will give away prizes. Okay, guys, what did you guys think about the search? Did you find it satisfying? Did you think that it ultimately lived up to your expectations? What do you think, Matt?
Don't ask me first. Go to that guy.
I think that it was a good conclusion on a very surface level. It wrapped up all the questions, right? I don't think there was any lingering questions in terms of greater character and story things from the first series in the comic books. I was kind of hoping there would be greater development in some of the characters and some greater significance to these questions, to these answers. There was no evolution of any of these characters or how we knew them, or like it would have been interesting if Zuko wasn't Ozai's son.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's kind of going back against what I had said in previous episodes, but at least it would have changed or evolved.
Right. I think what you're getting at is a vacuum test.
Yeah.
If you were to put this entire 3-book series into a vacuum, and you come back out of it, what's changed? What is the ultimate result? Nothing.
Yeah.
Because we went in the same way we came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one thing I did like was that it shows that these characters that we've held up to such a high standard, Ursa, who we always thought was, this very caring mother who really did love both of her children, it turns out that she erased her own memory because she felt that she didn't love Azula in particular the way that she should have, and she didn't want to have that on her conscience her whole life. So I mean, it shows that these characters, just like we're learning how Aang wasn't the perfect father,
right,
they're not perfect. They're very human. They're multi-dimensional characters.
Right, I actually thought that same thing, that we keep kind of going back to the original series and revisiting these previous characters that we had previously seen as like paragons of virtue and so forth. But ultimately, I felt like maybe I was a little let down because I was expecting something so grand and magical.
Yeah.
But it's once again kind of like The Secret Impresses No One. Like, do we need to keep revealing these secrets from the original series? I kind of like the idea that my imagination can kind of fill these gaps.
Yeah.
I don't need to know every little detail.
See, I always like when there's things that we can kind of predict, and there's like little clues along the way that lead you to this big, we predicted this from the beginning, we figured this out. But you would never have been able to predict from the original series that Ursa got her face removed and got a new face and had her memory erased, and that's where she's been. There's no evidence at all of that happening prior to the search. And it's really you only figure that out in the search part 3. It's just like, we're throwing this out, this is exactly what happened. There's no way you could have predicted it, but here you go.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit about the fact that there was no precursor for that. Because we have an immediate precursor, we have an immediate link to Ko the Face Stealer. They're related. The idea of a crazy spirit that has crazy powers is not new to us. It was introduced in the first season of Avatar. I don't know, was there ever going to be any story of the Zuko's mom story that was going to be completely satisfying after the years of build-up? When he goes to Ozai at the end of the series and says, "You're going to tell me what happened to my mother," that was implication that he will find out. And that he will get resolution to that. And I didn't need to know. But the fact that we were told, I am going to say I did like this story. I did think the ending was satisfying on a couple levels. Not all the levels that I wanted it to be. I still feel like we have work to do with Azula, but I think that there's a lot of weight in the final scene between her and her mother. When her mother says, "You're right, I didn't love you the way that I was supposed to." In season 3 of Avatar, when she's having her hallucinations, she's going, "Mother never loved me. She never loved me." And we always thought, "Oh, she's just crazy or whatever." But no, it's true. She wasn't the perfect mother, and she has, and that gives her vindication. That's going to be a huge factor in her healing from here on. But from her knowing that's going to be a huge psychological stepping stone, I feel.
First of all, I don't think Azula's a bad mother. I think she did take it easy out. Ursa's a bad mother. I did think
I don't think she's a bad mother.
Exactly.
But she's not perfect.
She's not perfect. But is that the standard we have to live by? Azula's only standard of her not being insane and evil is having a perfect mother?
Yeah.
What? Also, she never said that she didn't love Ursa any less than she even apologized to Zuko saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't love you." So why does somehow Ursula become vindicated? Azula become vindicated because she didn't love her apparently, and also that was a bit of a she's falling on the sword. She realized her wrongdoing and kind of atoning for that. That doesn't mean you were right to go burn down houses because I didn't love you.
Well, I can't speak to why Azula turned out the way that she did and Zuko turned out the way he did when they both had the same upbringing. When they were both abandoned by their mother, why does one have mommy issues and the other? That's what I mean.
First off, from the very beginning, Azula was a firebending prodigy. So Ozai was the one that raised Azula from the beginning. Ursa was the one who helped him along the way. They were raised by two different parents. One was just straight up evil. He was a horrible monster. One was a caring mother. I don't know how there's nothing else to really say about it.
Okay, but in that regard, Zuko already went through his journey. He already made his peace with his father. We've already passed that, but Azula hasn't.
Exactly. And we didn't see it in this either. That's what I'm saying. Where I was kind of her beginning of this, at the end of this, was this. This is how much we saw her move.
Right. And we could have. I agree with you. We could have seen her character evolve. We could have seen her either come full around or gone in any other direction. But she, like you said, just moved inches. However, going back to what you were saying about this kind of is sort of justifying or at least rationalizing in some respect where her character went, and her running off into the woods was kind of that's where we left the story. But I think both of you are to some degree correct, whatever, I don't care. But
that's unfortunate.
I think the real reason why the story ends exactly like this is because I think they're going to do a Zula story. And they didn't want to give her a conclusion. They didn't want to wrap up her story because they want to do another 3-part series.
If that's the case, awesome. But
if that's the case, maybe, although in my opinion, that's what I thought the search should have been. I thought the search should have been a Zula story.
Well, that's a good point. And because the story, the word search, as the title means we're searching for Ursa, but really, obviously that's a great title for all kinds of thematic things.
Everything.
Zuko's looking for himself, right? He realizes that he is destined to be Fire Lord Master.
I mean, really, the promise is more of Zuko's story even than the search is. I mean, he kind of oh, okay, I guess. What does he change? He kind of comes to what realization? No realization.
No, not really.
So that's what I'm saying. So it was the perfect opportunity for Azula. And I'm not saying that, I was saying before that it's her redemption story. Maybe she didn't have to be redeemed. I don't know. But I felt like there was some opportunity here to see this character in a completely different, and I didn't. By the end of this, I didn't see her any differently than when I saw her at the beginning.
So we have to apologize for last week for not having a viewer response question. We don't really know what happened. That whole night was just a blur. But we have one this week. Ryan, take it away. Okay,
guys. This week's viewer response question. Did you find the conclusion of Ursa's story satisfying?
Pokefan487 wrote, "Spirit bending is probably some form of energy bending done through the use of one's elemental power. Is it possible to do it using different element? Perhaps fire, like the mysterious way maybe Azula was using her fire on Korra to sense the dark energy affecting her avatar spirit. Not all that evil wrote, spirit bending is just using lion turtle energy to push Vatui bits out of the spirits. I think. The Yonderlander wrote, Vince's reaction to what the heck spirit bending is pretty much a reflection of mine. I have no friggin' idea."
Hey, what is...
Whoa!
Right? Who?
Matt, did you get a new face? Let's see it. Let's see
look at
it.
the new
Let's
face.
see what we got here. Oh God!